That wind is going to be glorious.
Oh boy.
Already. Turn off that wind tunnel.
Okay, so today we're basically going to be talking about how Crom and Co. went up on Grima, Gangrel, and Walhart and Valadar and T-posed to assert their dominance.
Turn off that wind tunnel.
Okay, so today we're basically going to be talking about... Oh my fucking god. No, fucking echo.
For that.
Well, this is off to a great start.
Yeah, seriously.
And better yet, this is Awakening, so the server won't crash.
Yeah, because we all know... OBS and YouTube both hate Fates, so... Took us...
If this is Awakening, then shouldn't we all be, like, woke as fuck for it?
Grima is always watching.
I hope not.
She even watches you while you sleep.
No, that's just fucking creepy.
I feel bad for Grima right now.
Grima is the new Santa.
I am the felt dragon Grima.
Do not do that.
I am the end. I am despair.
That's not the quote.
My theme of Grima is awesome.
Alright, are we actually gonna start this, or are you guys just gonna sit up?
I am the breath of ruin.
Yes. Alright, first off, let's talk about the plot.
No. We have a fucking order to these things, you anarchists!
Are you sure you really want to talk about the plot first?
I mean, we can introduce ourselves with her.
I mean, guys, it's not like we literally posted a plan of how we start this off earlier.
I mean, what script?
Yeah, I see it.
My name is, Nick. Let's retake that. Restart the recording.
No.
Just go ahead, start it.
Wait and talk.
Okay, I'm just gonna designate someone. Kefy, you go first, then we'll go up the voice chat list in order.
Alright, my name is Prince Red Star, and the way I got into Fire Emblem was that I was playing Melee, and I met this character named Mark, and I also met this character named Roy, and that's also how Roy became my favorite lord because of how brave he is. And what made me love Roy even more, it was in Heroes, he got a brave variant, which symbolizes his father, and he wrote this Durandal, which is really awesome. And where I got more into Fire Emblem was the fact that Awakening came out, and I got super interested when Smash 4 came out as well, because I saw more Fire Emblem characters come in. Like, that was the first time I saw Robin. Like, who is Robin? I don't know who Robin is. Same thing for Lucina. And then I was researching, and what I really got into Fire Emblem was Fates, and that's when I started to love it.
And what's your favorite Fire Emblem game so far, Kefy? What's your favorite game so far?
I would say I haven't played that much Fire Emblem games, but right now it's either Fates or Shadows of Valentia.
Alright.
So Shadows of Valencia, got it.
Colby, you're up.
I'm up.
Yep.
Colby.
I'm Colby or Soma. Call me witch. I don't care. I got into Fire Emblem around a couple years ago. I've only known Fire Emblem from Marth and Roy from Smash Bros. Then I seen Ike. I paid no attention to that guy whatsoever. Then I seen Marth and Luke.
You should, though. The Tellius games are fucking masterpieces. Except for Radiant Dawn, because Micaiah's kind of an idiot.
Anyway.
I've heard of these before.
Anyway, back to my introduction, Kefy. Kefy. Either way. Anyway. Basically, I went to a friend's house. I seen Awakening, and I'm just like, wait a minute. I thought this was Japan only. So I took it from him for 2 years, and then I was playing it. I got really interested. I really got interested around, unfortunately, Fate's area, which is my least favorite game.
Understandable.
Either way, I started playing some more Fire Emblem games, and what the hell? Anyway, and I just really like Fire Emblem, and I kind of just like skipped half my story, but no one cares, so let's move on.
What's your favorite so far?
What's my favorite? Sacred Stones.
Solid pick. You're up, Nick.
Alright, my name's Nick. You probably all know me as a mod in AYFEW. I don't do much though. I don't post that much there because I'm more active in the Magical Circle Jerk, another shitposting group. I got into Fire Emblem through, well, I'll be honest with you, I didn't really pay much attention to Melee because during the Melee era I was like a little kid and I honestly didn't know how to unlock Martha Roy. And basically I found out more because my friend in high school, we were like we used Smash Bros. Cokes, and he made Lucina and shit, and he had Awakening. I'm like, huh, that game looks cool. And I bought it, and basically, it was a horrible time in my life. I min-maxed the shit out of everyone and everything. I was literally the go-to man. That's how I became popular. It made me sad. I was famous, and well, I wasn't famous. I was an admin in the original group. That shall not be named, sadly. Who knows what I'm talking about? I think, right?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And it was mainly me, Christian, and Marty. And since Kevin was there, I kind of automatically got admin in AYFEW. But I took my job seriously. It's fun. And my favorite game of the series is probably Awakening due to how broken you can make the game. Like gameplay-wise, that would probably be Sacred Stones. Gameplay and story-wise.
Yeah, I have noticed Awakening is crazy unbalanced because, like, Lunatic mode just fucks you over. But, and not to mention Lunatic Plus, but you can break the ever-loving shit out of your characters if you grind enough.
I mean, the thing that sucks is the DLC.
Agreed. That fucking Apotheosis map is trauma-inducing.
The Limit Breaker fucks the game, and fuck. Limit Breaker fucks the game. The EXP thing makes the game too easy if you just buy it. If you basically spend $10 on the game, you're pretty much set for the rest of it.
Yeah. Alright, Q, you're up.
Wait, I have to talk now?
Apparently so. That's why you're here, isn't it?
Normally I just talk when I'm not wanted. What changed?
Just, come on.
Fine. I was another one of those fagoids that learned about Fire Emblem from Super Smash Bros. Borrowed Sacred Stones from a friend, and later that same friend gave me Shadow Dragon. And then got Awakening, got 7, got Sacred Stones, got Fates, hated myself for getting Fates.
Fates is a good game.
Well, technically, I got them as gifts, so I really can't put my opinion on it.
I mean, it's still Fire Emblem Fates. If what happened the last, 6 weeks doesn't show you how bad Fates is, where an inanimate object crashes because we're talking about it, I don't know what I can say.
It's funny.
I think
we tried and knocked it.
It's funny because it's true.
Well, I mean, if I was there for those podcasts, sadly, I probably could have done something, but I fucked up because work schedule.
Mm-hmm. We did end up using some of your points, though. It made for good discussion, and it carried on enough for 6 weeks worth of podcasts, so that works.
That's good.
I mean, I wouldn't say carried on. We found literally anything else to talk about, so we wouldn't, die from fate.
And I kept saying, dude, stay on topic. And people were like, no, fuck you. Well, alright. So, Q, your favorite game?
Yes.
Yes, Fire Emblem, yes.
Asking my favorite games does not work out.
Yes, coming 2019.
Alright.
Fire Emblem, yes, and Fire Emblem, no. The only option is if you want to kill corn or not.
Fire Emblem, maybe.
Fire Emblem,
Fire
no.
Emblem, yes. Fire Emblem, no. And Fire Emblem, maybe.
I just said.
Yeah.
Yet ever suffering.
Jermaine, you're up.
Alright. Jermaine, J-Man, call me whichever, doesn't really matter. Got into Fire Emblem, same thing on Melee. Back then, played a lot with my uncles. They're the one who introduced me to it, and I liked swords at that time too. And Mark was my favorite character for a while until I started playing Roy and started seeing how. Ironically, how started seeing how awesome he is as long as you can get the base and everything, because he's pretty much trash everywhere else. But yeah, Roy became my favorite, and then later on, when around the time Awakening started coming out, I saw the commercials and everything. Started thinking, wow, if all of them are like this, I'm just gonna go and get it. So then I went back and played, found a way to play some of the other games. Awakening was my favorite, but after that I went and played Sacred Stone, Blazing Sword, Shadow Dragon, Shadows of Valencia, Fates, and my favorite one is Awakening, probably because that's my first one. That might be the reason. I'm not sure.
You got the whole nostalgia factor going in there for you, don't you?
Yo, it's like I wanted to Fire Emblem more thanks to Awakening. God damn.
Well, I mean,
Alright, I'll be honest with you. Awakening was not actually my first experience. It was actually Mecha no Ken, but since I was like 8 years old, I couldn't get past like the 6th chapter, so I gave up.
I mean, that's the same with me in Path of Radiance, where I figured, hey, I can go up against an entire chapter of Spear Dude by himself, right? No? Oh, this game's too hard. I don't want to play it.
Like when I bought Mecha no Ken, like that was when it first came out. Like I have like the decal on my old toy box. It's still there.
nice.
Nice.
But like, my first experience.
I'll take a picture of it and send it later.
Yo, do it. But for me, my first experience was with Shadow Dragon. I've said this in previous podcasts, but I mean, I got it and played it through the end. I was like, what, 11 or 12, and back then I was like, yo, this Marth dude's pretty neat. Where have I seen him before? Oh yeah, Melee. And I went through it and I'm like, I really like Sita and Tiki because Sita's a kind of interesting character and Tiki's a fucking dragon, and what's not cool about fucking dragons?
Everything's not cool about dragons.
But yeah, but I went and I replayed it a couple times because I didn't really have any other games at that point in time because I had lost all my other games. And I mean, it was just kind of a time kill for me for a while. Eventually I forgot all about Shadow Dragon. And then I was walking through the mall with my family one day and I saw an ad in the GameStop window for Awakening, and I'm like, where have I seen that title before? So I went in there, I bought Awakening, I ended up loving Awakening, and that inspired me to look into the other games in the series. After that, I played Fates, and then I played Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn. I have started FE7 Blazing Blade, but honestly, that forced Lyn chapter that babies you the whole time just bored the ever-loving shit out of me, so I quit that. And I am working on Sacred Stones right now, and I've been doing videos of that on my YouTube, so. People keep telling me Vanessa's a piece of shit, but she's been evading and critting left and right. It's pretty good.
She's a green-haired piece of shit that you have to invest a lot of time into.
Alright.
Did Jermaine finish his intro?
Yeah, he did. But, like,
Okay.
my favorite's Path of Radiance, because, well, we like Ike. And the story writing was
I don't like Ike either.
the story writing was really fucking good, so.
He gives orders. I stab at people. I think our roles are clear.
Best line in the entire series. All right, Cheesecake Girl,
You're up, Steph.
Me? Oh, goddamn. How on earth did I get into Fire Emblem? Like every other goddamn American, it was through Melee.
Through Melee. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's...
Yep.
Super Smash Bros. The best Fire Emblem game.
Don't you mean the only Fire Emblem game?
Who the heck is this?
Oh no.
I was like, who the hell is this Marth, and why is he so cute? And then it was like, Fire Emblem, Japan only. Ooh. Fast
I mean, you knew that it was going to be Japan only because Marth wasn't wearing pants originally.
And it's weeaboo shit.
I mean, they gave him pants.
So much weeds. So eventually I got my hands on an emulator, and I played Sacred Stones via suggestion. I didn't finish it because I got really annoyed about it. I don't know why. Eventually I got
No skill.
Wait, did you get mad at Sacred Stones because you didn't get to kick guys in their Sacred Stones?
Oh God.
Biscuit. Anyway, eventually I played Blazing Blade and Binding Blade. I didn't finish them off because I got bored. And then I got into Brawl, didn't like it either. It's totally Fire Emblem, right? Oh yes, Brawl. And then I got my hands on Awakening. I totally loved it. I loved the characters. I loved the storyline. I liked everything about it. But it's not my favorite, which is kind of funny. Now, I got Awakening again because, long story short, an idiot stole my 3DS. It had Awakening in it. I got the 3DS back, but not the game. I find out a year later the very same person who stole it died from terminal cancer.
What the hell?
That took a dark turn.
He had a cancerous personality, so it just kind of serves him right.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, literally, karma hit him like a truck. I was like, okay.
The universe is like, hey, you're gonna steal my DS? You're gonna steal this girl's DS? Let's have you die of terminal cancer.
This is Naga's doing.
Shush. So I got Awakening again. But I didn't. Strangely, I didn't finish it the second time around. Probably because I was so down about the original one getting stolen.
Honestly, it wasn't worth finishing.
The thing that made it worth finishing was the chapters at the end where you can get Priam, and he's a whole thing where we don't know whether he's.
We get it. We don't
know whether he's
like Ike.
You're like fucking goddamn Radiance fag.
Hey, shut up. The Tellius games were good.
Hey, shut up. No, they weren't.
Disclaimer: Ike is not gay. Priam is proof. Shut it.
Soren is gay.
No, Soren is just like really dedicated to Ike because Ike saved his fucking life when he was a street urchin.
Before.
Okay, but maybe Ike became gay after he had a kid.
Guys, let's get into the Tellius podcast.
I was gonna say before we get into whether Ike is gay or not. Can we? Is there really any proof that the post game paralog units are actually canon?
Is there any proof or not?
They aren't, because you literally kill Walhart and then he pops up later.
Oh yeah, disclaimer. Fuck your spoiler warnings. This game's been out for like 8 years. You should have played it by now.
It's not been 8 years. It's been 5 years.
Fuck a spoiler warning.
Yeah.
It's been 5 years.
So shut the fuck up if we're spoiling you. So just shut the fuck up.
Thank you. So I got both physical copies, don't ask why, of Fate. It wasn't me, it was my ex. Thanks. Then I got Echoes. Echoes again because I lost the copy and I got a new one recently. And for some unexplainable reason, I took way too long to play Path of Radiance, even though I have a physical copy. So, yeah, I still haven't cleared it, and yet it's my favorite Fire Emblem so far. I don't get it.
So what do you like about Ike? Like, why did you get into Ike?
What did that have to do
It
with
was
the
originally from... Originally, yes, it was from Brawl. I know, same shit, every fucking American. Anyway, and then I kept watching my ex play Path of Radiance, and then I was like, hey, this guy is very interesting. I like Ike. I love Ike. And that's where it kept going.
I wanna fuck Ike.
Shush!
I mean, okay, lady, your name was literally Ragnell Sheath.
Hey, shut up.
That was a dark era. That was a very dark era.
You probably have a shrine of Ike in your room.
No, I actually don't. Surprisingly.
No, she just has a shrine to Greg Chen.
You are making this grill angry.
Alright.
I'm not angry. I'm totes chill. Can I finish though? Favorite games in no particular order: Path of Radiance, Shadows of Valentia, and that's it. Not much, really. Strangely, surprisingly. Also, Awakening saved the series. Shut up.
Dude. If you genuinely don't think that Awakening saved the series, then kind of wrong. Because it wasn't even that popular in Japan until Awakening.
People kept claiming that Shadow Dragon was the one that saved the series, but I call
Shadow Dragon sold the worst out of all of the Fire Emblem titles.
Yeah, Shadow Dragon was the worst. That's why Awakening would have been the last game.
Damn, even Faith did better.
You know, Intelligent Systems actually went on the record and said that if Awakening hadn't sold well, that would have been the end of Fire Emblem.
Yeah, true.
It was literally the saving grace, and they literally went bananas on Awakening.
I know, but get this. Because of Awakening, Fire Emblem is now one of Nintendo's most major IPs next to Mario, Zelda, etc.
Star Fox.
Yeah.
Like
Star Fox.
When Fire Emblem got its own exclusive Nintendo Direct, it was confirmed that... Okay, I'm muting Jermaine.
What the hell is
Yeah, no,
that?
J-Man, seriously.
Who is that?
That was J-Man. But like, when Fire Emblem got its own
Oh,
Nintendo Direct, IS basically confirmed that Fire Emblem is now one of Nintendo's major IPs.
I mean, wasn't it back then?
No, it wasn't.
It was
maybe
not.
they'll prove that it's major by not making any more fates.
I'm gonna say something. We got more games in the past 3 years for Fire Emblem than like in the past. Alright, starting before Awakening, we probably got a Fire Emblem game every 3 or 4 years.
Now we're getting one every year or every other year.
Yeah, it's basically now the Pokemon series.
And create and become awful.
I just really hope they reveal it. I just really hope they reveal a Fire Emblem game by the end of the year.
They're probably gonna do that on E3, honestly.
Yeah, and next thing you know, it's gonna come out in 2019.
Oh no, it's been confirmed for this year on the Nintendo Direct last year.
Oh yeah, but why are you taking so long and it's almost the end of the year? We're in May.
No, we're in June.
It's happening.
We're in June.
Okay, I need to get more sleep. Alright, so is everyone done with the introductions?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna give the brief summary of the story.
What's the story? I mean, alright, I'll be honest.
It's not Fates, it actually has a story.
Jinx.
No, I was actually gonna say something. The first two parts of the story are pretty good. The first... Oh my fucking god. The first two parts of the story are actually very good. The Grima segment, it was fucking dumb, because it just tried to integrate Lucina and like...
Look in my bag.
Look in your bag?
No, tell her she was looking for you. Sorry, I'm not gay.
Alright, so...
You might be.
So yeah, honestly, the first couple segments of the game were good. The whole conquest of, Plegia, and the beating off Walhart the Conqueror, those were good, but when they threw in some plot holes and discrepancies when they brought in the whole Grima thing, because, I mean, they just tried to make one of the more minor characters
America great again.
the whole center of the game.
Are you trying to say the Grima section was, like, rushed?
Yeah.
It was not. It was like a whole 2 chapters.
The Grima section was, like, just 2 to 4 chapters long. I mean...
Learn to mute your mic.
They could have handled that
seriously.
better. And spoiler alert, the bullshit ending where you sacrifice yourself to stop Grima forever, and then somehow Robin is just still alive in the end, and Crom and Lissa and Frederick find him again. That
is why I like Olivia.
That's a plot hole.
Being so adorable.
Don't worry, guys. They did say that if the power of friendship is strong enough, you won't actually die.
Bro, the power of friendship is bullshit. The fuck?
Power, friendship.
Okay, now what we need is a Fire Emblem Kingdom Hearts crossover.
Can we not?
My friends are my powers.
Yeah, seriously. What I don't like is that they really should not have implemented kids other than Lucina, because that really just creates a shit ton of plot holes.
Lucina's personality is about as flat as her chest.
Oh, I know. And that joke is as old as the game is.
You know, it's not a joke. It's true.
Lucina is just.
You know my point.
Lucina is just Marth, but with slightly more character.
And no tip.
You know what? Marth probably has more of a chest than Lucina. At this point, she's so flat, she's concave.
Marth has even more thicker legs than Lucina.
Martha's just better than Lucina, to be honest. But what I was saying is that Lucina may be bland as shit, but literally like, why introduce all these other kids that'll talk in one paralogue and then not influence anything else?
Because they're trying their best to save the series, obviously.
No, I know, but like it wasn't good for the story.
It wasn't good for the story, but the kids were actually decent characters in their supports. Like I will go on record and say my favorite Awakening characters are Olivia, Female Morgan, and Severa, honestly.
I'm going to say it, okay? Another universe, I'm your mom.
Corvus, aren't you getting ahead of the schedule?
I am, but still.
Who were you favorite? Who was your last one?
Severa. I mean, she's a tsundere, and tsunderes are generally shitty.
You actually like Severa? I mean, that's not an insult, but you do?
Yeah, I actually like Severa.
like Severa too.
Kevin Tonacottle.
Oh no.
Let's never talk about him.
Don't bring him into this. Do not bring him into this. He's a good friend, but don't bring him into this, okay?
Okay, then Stefan DeVoe.
Please don't.
Hey, Kate, how about we not make this a shitstorm?
Alright, here we fucking go.
Don't call him Cage, Q.
Okay, guys.
I did it because
no, seriously, I'm not calling out anybody. I just said that those are the two people known for Selena.
Well, see, honestly, I like Severa more than Selena because, you know, Fate's writing.
I mean,
Selena actually gets a character outside of, haha, I'm Cordelia's kid. Yeah.
She does, but I mean, I'd have to read up on her supports again to try to see if I still feel the same.
I mean,
Severa, like,
what sucks is that in Awakening, she's limited by the kid complex, is that
she's only allowed to have support with other children and her parents. That's it. And the ones with her, and the thing about kid supports with their dads is that they're all the same with varied lines.
Yeah,
I mean, that's how it is with all kids.
I know that's the point, but like, it sucks that it's just so limited. Like, there's no variation at all. It doesn't matter whose the parent is. So
yeah, I noticed that on my few playthroughs of Awakening that it really doesn't matter who the parent is for the kids, and I was a little disappointed by that because I feel like it could have really put more stuff in depth.
There would have been a huge time dump, though, on top of what the game already was.
True.
I mean, like, the kids weren't supposed to be, like, developed. They're just supposed to be there for waifu bait or husbando bait, and just a couple of personality things on the side if the main cast did not fill your needs.
Honestly, there were a few characters in the main cast I honestly couldn't stand or just had a neutral dislike. For example, Donnie was a fucking great unit, but I live in South Carolina and I'm around a bunch of white supremacist racist rednecks, and any kind of country boy stereotype sets me off. That's why I didn't like Mozu either. I like Donnie because he's a spunky guy. He's got a fucking pot on his head, and he's a fucking amazing unit.
He's a pothead.
But his character's kind of
Sorry.
like, the characters I honestly just didn't like for some reason were Maribel, because I honestly don't like the elitist bitch types. Kefy, don't hit me for this, but I really didn't like Sully.
Why?
I don't know, she just, like, she was a little too butch. And I just couldn't wrap my head around her character.
I mean,
she's a tomboy, and sometimes most tomboys are butch, right?
Most tomboys are just...
Yeah, almost all tomboys are butch.
Yeah, but they're not that butch.
I mean, if you think about it, Sully is loyal to her motherland, I guess, and she will fight in their name.
Sully is indeed a good character. I just didn't like her for some reason.
Why, her personality or something?
I don't know what it was, honestly. Something about her just didn't click with me.
I think what sucked. Sorry. I think what sucked about the Awakening Cavaliers is that they followed the same trope as Cain and Abel. They're only known as being the Cavaliers. They have no personality beyond that.
Oh, except for Stahl, who is literally the Shaggy of Fire Emblem.
All this dude says is I'm hungry.
So a hippie then?
No, he's not a hippie. He's just perpetually hungry. He's like Ilyana, except Ilyana gets physically weak if she doesn't eat like 50,000 calories a day.
But how do you get hungry fast, though?
Crazy high metabolism. It doesn't mean he smokes pot.
Okay.
Remember, he doesn't exist in the same universe as Midori.
That's true. I give you that.
Midori just steals. She doesn't smoke.
Well, no, she doesn't smoke, but she makes the shit.
Yeah, she's the dealer.
She deals.
Dude, she's Fate's local pot dealer.
She's too young to be a drug dealer in the first place.
I mean, Reed Dwyer's supports. You're gonna feel very sad.
You're never too young to screw up your life.
We're going on a Fates in a bad place. We're not going there yet.
All right.
As soon as we go to Fates, it's immediately a bad place. What are you talking about?
The last one I couldn't really stand was Virion. Now,
Virion is a very hit or miss character.
Yeah, like Raph, who was supposed to be here, he has like a huge boner for Virion for some reason, and I've told him, why do you like Virion? And he's like,
I don't blame.
Because he's elegant and he's hot, is what Raph said. I'm like, but he's a prick.
You believe he has a crush on Sully?
What?
Virion loves Sully a lot, honestly.
Well, yeah, we know. We knew that.
I usually marry the two of them off and then never touch either of them or their kid ever again.
But I see Virion and Olivia working because freaking Inigo.
Yeah, the personality trait works, but honestly, I recently, like, when Warriors released the sprites for Olivia, I'm like, wow, that is fucking gorgeous animation for her. So I went and replayed Awakening and married Olivia, and I noticed her supports with Reuben were actually really, really good.
Olivia's a good character.
She is.
She really
and
is.
Henry's one of my favorites because he's a freaking pun master, and I love that.
You know, if someone doesn't like Henry, it's a catastrophe.
I feel like you contribute well to your
I want to talk about Henry, though. I really want to talk about Henry.
Hang on, for that.
Okay, so here's the thing. I read up on Henry a few months ago, and I just found out that in the English version, he was sent off to a magic school, but in the Japanese version, he was sent off to an orphanage where he was abused.
His parents flat out said they don't want him.
Yeah, so the reason why Henry smiles a lot was because to hide his fear, his anxiety, his sadness. So that is actually good character writing for Henry here, because the fact that I don't know why Henry doesn't open his eyes. I know he's not blind and all, but
he does though in that attack animation for him in Heroes where his eyes are just slightly open. He looks all menacing and badass, and I fucking love it.
Same thing for his Halloween stuff. When he's damaged, he opens his eyes a little bit because he's feeling pain. But honestly, I like Henry for that reason, because it shows off that regardless of what happened to you in the past, you were just still smiling it off and just killing people with a smile on your face.
See, you find a way to rise above your past traumas, and Henry is the epitome of that. He finds a way to live on.
Male. Okay. You can talk. You can talk.
I was just saying, Henry's the epitome of the character that finds a way to live on through his past traumas. And he just finds a way to keep on living.
Basically Perry, but 10 times better.
Henry's actually one of the greatest characters. And people
Henry to Perry.
Yeah, he's just one of the great characters.
Don't that picture of Cordelia and Sumia because Cordelia sucks.
Alright, I'll be honest with you. You see like a certain awakening parent, you think of their kid, right?
Yeah.
Like, you see Olivia, you think of Inigo. You see fucking Sumia, you think of Cynthia. You see Solid, who do you think of? Who remembers her name?
It's Kiel.
Yeah, there you go.
But like,
you have to actually think for 5 seconds. Because no one cares about Kiel.
See, I don't care because I generally don't use fucking armored units. Or axe, or plain axe fighters. Or cavaliers. Or archers. I generally just use infantry and flyers. And dragons, and I don't fucking know why.
I'm not really an armored fan.
Armored units were just too slow for me and too low movement.
Yeah, but they have good defenses. You gotta give them that.
Yeah.
So I mean, who cares that they take 0 damage from a hit if they can never be in combat from being too slow?
That was exactly my mentality, Q.
Should we go with the script and say who our favorite characters are?
Yeah, that's what we've been working on. Like I've mentioned, Olivia and
you said your favorite characters.
Olivia and Henry were mine, basically. Honestly.
I'm gonna send a bunch of Miiverse posts I saved. Miiverse is still a thing.
All right.
I miss Miiverse.
Kefy, go ahead and do your favorites from Awakening. Then we'll hit up Colby and Nick and Q.
I heard my name. What's going on?
Have you not been paying attention?
Oh no. Alright, so first off, surprisingly, one of my favorite characters in Awakening is Crom. Reason why I choose Crom as one of my favorites is because in his supports he's honestly really funny. But the downside is I don't like the fact that he's a sexist bastard to Robin in one of their supports.
Huh?
Because in one of the supports with Robin, the female Robin, he states that he doesn't really see her as like that type of lady, and Robin just got infuriated for that. Next thing you know, he just pops up in...
How's...
What?
No, I'll let you finish. I'll let you finish. But I do that.
I mean, if I said racist, I meant sexist.
You said sexist. So.
Okay. So, and in one of the supports, Crom just went into Robin's tent while she was showering, and I don't even know why he didn't say hey, Robin, and she just had to go in. Like, come on, man, you can't just do that.
Robin did the same thing to him though. They both walked in on each other like that, and it's like.
Well, to be fair, Crom did it first.
Yeah, Crom did it first, and he was just like, yo, we gotta go over these strategy things for the next battle. And he just walks in not even realizing what's going on. And Robin does the same thing, but then starts chucking stuff at him when she walks in on him, and I'm like...
She.
Okay.
But otherwise, Crom is a good unit. His function hits like a truck, takes out dragons. All in all, he has a good personality as well. Fitted to be a king.
Crom!
Alright.
Crom.
Before you move on real quick, I do want to bring up the sexist thing real quick. I don't think that was him being sexist. I think it was just him being a goof. Because he didn't... Because Robin is his best friend. He views her as his best friend, not a female as his best friend.
See, yeah, when you're really close with someone, you don't view them as like the opposite gender or the same gender. They're just like best friends. They're like family to you. You don't really.
I can actually confirm that.
Yeah, I can confirm that too.
I actually did that to one of my female friends once, and they did not give a shit because it was me, and they knew I wouldn't do anything.
Thanks for correcting me. Okay. Surprisingly, this next favorite is Frederick.
My lord.
Yes.
Mr. Fryer, dude.
Are you ready for Fred?
The reason why I like Frederick is because of his devotion and how he would do anything for Crom. I know this is Awakening, but it shows a lot in Warriors as well.
Fred's a fucking pyro.
I mean, my profile picture is like perfect for this now.
Oh no. So I sent it. It was the Miiverse version.
I haven't really remember much of the units in Awakening like by their stats, but I do remember them based off their personality. So I'm just doing my best here. My next favorite for this is obviously Cordelia, because she is a devoted Sky Knight who will fight for anyone in her whole army. And I like the fact that she has a crush on Crom, and Crom is just too blind to see it, or I don't know.
They literally can't support.
Wait, they can't support?
No, they can't support at all. They don't even have a normal score combo.
They don't have a fucking S?
Who? Cordelia and
They
Crom?
don't even have an A.
She introduces herself now.
They don't have a C through A. Nothing.
Cordelia can't support at all with Crom, and any of the time she gets married to another dude, the dude's always like, look, I know you've got a lady boner for Crom, but I hope I'm good enough for you. Gaius literally says, look, I'm no Crom, but I hope you'll marry me anyways.
Oh, damn. Oh, okay. Yeah.
But here's the thing. Cordelia doesn't give a shit about them because she still loves Crom.
She's like the Fae of Awakening.
Well, I mean, marriage doesn't extend anywhere past the support. That's it. That's all they interact with. They pretty much say, I love you, have the baby, and then they forget about each other. Besides the stat boost.
Okay, so I got through the characters where I like. I'm gonna go with the neutrals now. The neutral that I pick, one of the neutrals I pick is Tharja. And I know you guys are like, Kefy, what the fuck are you doing with Tharja?
I mean, I'm also a fan. Alright, not that bad.
Tharja is your typical creepy stalking witch in Awakening. Which good magic power. It's all good. But the downside is I don't like the fact like why is she so obsessed with Reuben? Tell me, just why?
I mean,
Hey, remember, Cordelia feels the same way towards Crom.
Why? Did they explain it? Did they?
well, there's
I have a theory.
Yeah, Nick and I have a theory that it's because Grima is like Robin's part of Grima.
Basically, she senses the dark aura of Grima. She's attracted to it, and then she falls in love with Robin instead of Grima. So when Grima pops up, that's why she's still with Robin instead of going to Grima.
So that's why.
I mean, it's a good plausible theory because I mean she's a dark mage. Of course, she can sense the dark power.
I mean, none of that is canon.
Attracted to freaking Grima?
None of that is canon, but the theory is that she is attracted to the dark aura of Grima that's in Robin. And see, with her obsession with Robin, I assume that in the chapter where you recruit her, you'd be able to recruit her with Robin. And having known about her character before playing Awakening, I tried to do that. And she didn't walk up and talk to Robin. She literally just attacked him and got one shot.
Yeah, basically.
So I was like, okay.
I don't think Robin can talk to any of them. Yeah, Crom has to recruit all of them besides Morgan. It's very ironic.
Don't worry, guys. I'm almost on my characters. I'm sorry. I'm almost on. Okay, so characters are also neutral is the family of Lisa and Owain. Now, Lisa is pretty alright, same thing for Owain, but about the personalities, I know kids have different personalities nowadays, but Owain is nothing like her mother. Nothing.
His mother.
I like Owain's like acts, like he's trying to act cool, like he's seen a lot in Warriors. But I don't really see that much fitting.
Well, Kefy, do you act exactly like your parents?
I do. I really do like my parents.
That is kind of weird. I'm not gonna lie. I'd say that matches more of like maybe Fuck. I'm trying to.
You can't words today, can you, Nick?
I was gonna say I think that matches more like a Nego. Because the Nego acts a lot like Olivia, just...
You're still staring at me!
Yeah, that.
Stop staring!
My fucking
Basically...
cuteness.
I don't think I should get this character as a neutral, but more like a dislike than a neutral side is Noe. I mean, don't get me wrong, I use her a lot in Heroes because she's a really strong, like, unit, and I do like her personality a lot, but the fact is, like, she's almost, like, too cheerful. Like, come on.
Too cheerful. That's your
complaint. I
complaint.
get you're 1,000 years old, but don't act like a... But, bro, you're trying to act like you're an adult, but you're still a little kid, even though you're 1,000 years old.
Well, okay. Assuming us. I was gonna say, put it in this perspective. Implying she matures the way she's doing it. She was probably a baby throughout, like, the ages of 0 to 800 maybe? Like, probably between 8 years old.
Well, she's like
she's probably like 14 or 15 in Dragon years.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Marry her and have not with her? Ew.
No, what I'm trying to say is that, she's gonna be a bit immature because she's still, like, in her, angsty years. But no, she's reaching her angsty years. She's about, like, 13 or 14.
I like Reuben. I like the protagonist, obviously, because of how, like, they're, like, kind of like the smartest person in Pelja, or no, not Pelja, Elise. And they are, like, renowned as, like, the greatest tactician of all time. And, yeah, agreement powers. That's cool. So, there, I'm done with my characters.
Soma.
You're up.
Soma.
Colby.
All right. So this is favorites, neutral, and dislike.
I just did favorites, but okay.
All right. My favorite character. Ooh boy.
Melantina.
I can't really say like Inigo because I kind of liked him in Awakening kind of afterwards after playing Fates. One of my favorite characters would have to be female Morgan, I suppose. Because just like her in general, I just like her personality. I like her appearance is all right, and even that wise, she's like really good, especially Manikeet Morgan. I also liked Lissa. Lissa has done me so much wonders. God damn it, such a gem. Lissa's has really done wonders. Like never because I usually play hard mode classic when I first started Fire Emblem games. So like Lissa never died. Lissa was always there when my other units needed her. I actually never supported her in Robin, surprisingly, but those are my favorites. I really like Donald.
I'm Donnie.
But like good old Donnie. Actually, Donald is one of my more favorite characters now that I'm thinking about it, because like I went as far as to cosplay as Donald during Halloween back when I was in grade 9.
I couldn't work out. Probably whenever I didn't talk about Sully, I kind of already did, kind of.
Yeah, you did.
What made me so sad was like, but I mean, I was expecting it, but it was still sad nonetheless. When I was walking around school dressed up as Donnie, because it was like that Halloween school special thing, people were just like, "Oh, are you Johnny Appleseed?" And I'm just like, "Oh my god."
Well, I mean, not many people play a Wii game.
I know. But it's just like, and I forgot who Johnny Appleseed was at the time that I searched him up, and I'm just like, oh my god. That's so disappointing. Neutral characters would have to be Brady. Like.
Who the fuck is Brady? He doesn't exist.
He's not the best. But I only like him because he reminds me of a different character from a different video game. And if you know me, you know who that character is.
I don't.
I really don't.
I'm gonna assume it's some kind of Persona shit because, I mean.
Oh yeah, I do. It's what's his name? He's the gay guy, Kanji.
The homosexual. I'm just like, yeah, this guy's cool. Owain's pretty decent too.
I remember his Persona's name, but not him. Taki Kazuchi.
Another neutral character is Gaia. He's pretty cool. Like the part I liked about most was recruiting him because it's like, candy. I like candy. Now I'm going to kill some people for you because you gave me candy. Sugar. Guys are pretty cool. Characters that I dislike. Already you heard me bitching about Cordelia. She's fucking Monster Energy drink shit. Another character that I want to talk about before going on to that shit is Sumiya. Sumiya's kind of in the middle for me because to me she's like a mid-cafe. That's what Sumiya's like to me. She's just there.
Nice.
She's basically the forced love interest of prom.
Yeah. Like stats good. Stats are pretty good if you put the time into her. Now Cordelia.
All Pegasus Knights.
What Q?
Them being like really bad units unless invested in is like most Pegasus Knights in the entire series.
Yeah. Except Cordelia. Because Cordelia never seemed to want to do shit. She was terrible in any of my Fire Emblem runs.
She's always been great in mine. I don't know what you're smoking.
She wouldn't kill anything, and she'd always die. Literally, it got to the point where it's like, all right, I'll marry her off, and then she'll die. Like that. The whole of Cordelia's existence was for Severa. Another character that I don't really like is what's her name? The Archer girl.
Noir?
Yeah. I don't know. Just
Blood and Thunder.
She. I don't know. To me, she was just like
there.
Kind of same deal in Sumiya's case, just there. But I don't know. She was kind of a nuisance for me when I tried to level her up.
Is this because? Hang on. It's because they try and force her into a physical class when her parents are magical. I thought that was dumb.
If you're going to support, if you want a good support, I'd actually support Gregor and Tharja.
Hey guys, you should check the chat, because I need someone to be physically hurt from this.
I'm not.
Oh my goodness.
I need the shepherd's head, boy.
Okay.
No.
Ah! God damn it.
That's another one for one day.
Hey, Corvus. Never mind.
That's
scary.
This is what. Hold on. No, not that one. This is what all of you are thinking at me right now.
Not really.
No, this.
No. Well, I guess, yeah, but
I'm saving
I think that's enough. I like Olivia. She reminds me of Florina a lot, and Florina is one of my favorite Fire Emblem characters. If not the favorite Fire Emblem character.
Oh god, no!
Is that supposed to be Starja?
I've seen this 10,000 times.
Same.
Anyway, that's enough about me on liking, accepting, and really hating on characters. But I'm probably going to be making more hate on Cordelia jokes.
Okay.
I'm really kicking myself because I opened up my Awakening file and I realized that my Sumiya was level 14 when I did Chapter 13, and Lucina did not inherit Gale Force, so now she's gonna have to go through the whole fucking Pegasus Knight line.
Guys, ignoring my profile picture, this is me to all of you.
I was ready to set you on fire.
I mean, you guys are my friends and all, but if you fuck with me, I will not hesitate to set you on fire. Come on, man. Don't be like that.
You'll be the first to burn.
I know.
Like Sigurd.
Sounds like a garbage disposal.
Could you at least spread my ashes into the sea?
Ew, he's just a child.
And I'm gonna show him
how to make one.
Stop it!
Ricky is another McCafe for me. He's just there.
Fucking McCafe. Oh my god.
What the hell is that?
Alright, I saw you scroll up, so what are we talking about now? Or are we moving on to another character about another person about bitching about character?
We were going to Nick now.
Yeah, we were just supposed to talk about our favorite characters, right?
Yeah, just favorite characters and stuff.
Well, since all these Rickon pictures are popping up, I want to start with the person I hate, Rickon.
Hold on, wait a second, you hate Rickon?
I don't get his point. He saves Maribel, that's his entire point in the story.
Drinks
and then Maribel disappears forever.
Maribel doesn't exist.
Like, literally, they show up for the premise of 2 chapters and then disappear. Like, you would not know Rickon pops up at the end of the chapter asking Crom to, like, go with him half the time if you skip the cutscenes.
Bro, you know somebody who clearly disappears?
Yeah, here we go. I don't want to say it because
Tell him. I don't know who this character is.
Who?
Kellum.
Exactly. Who the hell are you talking about?
All I'm saying is that Rickon was definitely a waste of Yuri Lonthal's talent, and I'm glad that he was his mom.
Hell yeah! Time to kick the children.
Oh hell! Is Gangrel an asshole like Inigo? I mean, Iago?
Iago is pure asshole. At least Gangrel has some common decency. If you would say,
you're kidding, right?
Iago is just like, I am going to fuck y'all asses.
Okay, Corvus, let's make this even better.
Oh my
god.
You like playing kites? Work as a pickup line. Suck it.
Oh my god!
Enough internet for today.
Not enough internet for today. I have plenty where this came from.
Wow.
Oh yes.
Oh yes.
Oh no.
Niles.
Oh my.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah.
Okay, here you go.
Kool-Aid Man breaks through the wall.
Hey,
Oh yeah.
Read that message.
You and I are one and the same. There's nothing you've been through that I haven't. Childbirth.
What about getting kicked in the nuts?
How about
How about no?
I will never want to let you down, Ciara.
Hey, Corvus.
That made me so...
Hey, Corvus, have you ever seen that thing? Have you, I'm pretty sure you have. You seen that thing about, like, the guy who's like, who's your favorite Pokemon? Fuck it, it's nothing compared to this Aggron. Have you ever seen that?
How of the 3 that were just posted, 2 of them have nothing to do with Awakening.
Yeah, no, like, we're not even talking about the games anymore. Y'all are just sending memes, and that's what you're talking about.
Well, we've kind of got to have J-Man muted because it sounds like a garbage disposal is constantly running.
Who's your favorite Fire Emblem character? Well, they're nothing compared to Donald.
I mean, Donald's just nothing. Donald's a literal pothead, and that's all he'll ever be.
Nah, bruh. He'll plow the fields just like he plows pussies.
Yep.
Did you get blown by Donald?
Also plow 1,000 years worth of dragon foot. What the fuck? Yo.
I usually marry him off to Noe because I don't fucking know.
It says they say that because they won. Everybody marries him to Noe because Nog gets scale force that way.
Did you guys know that Donald passes good stats to his children?
Well,
He's actually a good father.
if I remember correctly, Donald actually doesn't have the best stat modifiers. He has aptitude, which is a great thing. Like,
He
once you reach
passes
endgame,
luck.
it doesn't end up helping that
If
much.
you pass on, if you pass on aptitude and you marry Olivia and Donald, Inigo's base luck cap is 50, which means with Arms Thrift and maxed out luck, he can use fucking Regalia infinitely.
Yeah.
Okay, that's broken.
Actually looking at his stat mods, he has +1 strength, +1 defense, and
Oh,
+2
those sent
luck.
out of order, I'm saying.
And he has -1 in every single one.
Well, at least he's a gentleman. A gentleman Satanist.
I'm totally Henry. Prove me wrong.
Yeah, pretty much.
So are we gonna go back on topic of the schedule?
Yes. So, Nick,
Yes.
did you cover characters you liked?
I didn't even get to say a single one. I talked about, like, fucking, what was his name? I talked about Rickon for 2 seconds, and then he sent Rickon memes, and then avoided again.
Olivia looks great on that one.
Yes. Okay, go ahead, Nick.
Alright, so since we're back on the subject of favorite characters, I might as well go backwards. I hate Donald because, well, his entire personality is, haha, I'm a villager, I'm not good enough, but hey, look, I'm good enough. That's literally it. Like, and while I don't like Mozu for the same exact trope, at least she tries to avoid from it, even though her entire thing is farming, it's fucking dumb. Now, characters I'm neutral about, Noe. Noe because she was a good character, but she's definitely jailbait.
No one. I like how no one ever talks about Stall.
I talk about Stall.
Oh no,
I like
he was one of my
Stall.
favorite characters that I was gonna go on to.
I like Stall, but
alright.
Heroes made me hate him because he spooks me so fucking much.
Wait, who?
Stall.
Stall.
Oh.
As I was
He's just
saying.
stalling for time.
Oh my god, I had the same idea.
As I was saying, Noe, basically, her personality is actually pretty decent. Like, doesn't she have a support with Tiki, if I remember correctly? No, I know she doesn't. Her daughter does for some reason. I thought that was fucking dumb.
Na and Lucina and Robin are the only ones that can support with Tiki.
And I thought that was dumb. I would figure Noe gets work Tiki. But Noe does have a festival conversation with Tiki, and I remember that. It's like they were talking about. I think the festival conversation was actually one of the better things for Noe, even though it was a DLC. Basically, she was talking to Tiki all about like saying that what happens like they were talking about like losing all their friends and stuff since they grew up and all that stuff. And basically, Tiki told her that all those stars in the sky are basically her long lost friends, so they like transform to like at the end they say they're gonna go transform to dragons and go to the top of the hill and like look at the stars together or some shit. I thought that was pretty nice because Noe's a bit immature, so Tiki's honestly a nice pair for her. So I really wish they had some good conversations.
Yeah, that would have actually developed Noe a lot more as a character, other than, haha, I look like I'm 10, but I'm actually 1,000.
You were about to say 2.
I was gonna say 2. Well, I was gonna say 2 or 12, but I actually went with 10.
I like.
Does Tiki have a kid?
Does Tiki have a what?
A kid.
No. Tiki can't have Morgan, but that's it.
Wow.
But since Morgan's Morgan's a human dragon hybrid.
Dude, Morgan's a whore.
Basically, she's gonna look like fucking skin and bones when she's actually 1,000 years old. Sadly.
Oof.
Because that was the weird thing that they said in Awakening was that she ages like a normal person, but she can grow as old as a mannequin. So no, that's horrible, and they should never have said that, to be honest. So characters that I like are definitely Yarn. As ironic as it sounds, I like Yarn. Probably because Yarn. He's just it's personal preference. He's a scaredy cat, and I built the shit out of him. Like here, I'll send it. And but there he is, my old Meepers post.
You know, this says do not repost, and I kind of don't care.
Not a single person here talked about Long Q.
Well, Long Q is kind of forgettable. But, you know how we were talking about, the Japanese version of Henry earlier when they mentioned he was abandoned?
Yeah, I said that.
I'm pairing him with Noe in this playthrough, and he mentions that in his supports with her. In the English version.
That he went to magic school?
No, that he was abandoned by his parents and that they completely ignored him.
Alright.
I paired Henry with Olivia, actually.
Noe says, I know, right? It's so annoying how quickly some people tire out. I mean, 10 hours? Come on, that's like a warm-up. Do you know I haven't found a single playmate since I joined this dumb army? Until now, that is. We're gonna play games from dawn to dusk, and Henry replies, I know how you feel. You know, I don't tell many people this, but I was kind of abandoned when I was young. My family completely ignored me, and I didn't have any playmates. But it was fine, because I learned to amuse myself. Oh, and make friends with animals. Henry also really likes animals, and in his supports with Olivia, he finds an injured puppy, and she acts like he's gonna murder
Olivia
it.
Thinks he's trying to kill her. Yeah. Alright. I paired up Olivia with Henry mainly because I found out that Olivia has a +1 magic point, and I thought that was weird. So I kind of just got Inigo to be a sorcerer, and I made Inigo and Owain like magic bros, even though they weren't supposed to. So
magical girls are too mainstream, gonna make all your characters magical boys.
Our next favorite characters are, and I'm gonna say this and get hate from that one guy who says he doesn't like it, but Cordelia. Not like going past the prom shit, like she tries to be perfect because she wants people to like not have to strain themselves when they call her out for it. She doesn't like it because she's not perfect, and that's why she gets upset is because she's not perfect. Like
she gets upset because her allies died in order for her to live on, and her allies used to always tease her for being a genius and a prodigy.
Well, yeah, but the thing is that
a serious self-hate complex for no matter how much someone compliments her, she says, no, stop lying to me, I know I'm not good enough, I'll do better.
Well, that's because if she was better, she could have protected her friends and all that stuff. That's why she thinks that. She thinks that she's made too many mistakes to be considered perfect, so she genuinely loathes being called perfect.
Hey, you guys want like a happy, wholesome picture?
Yeah.
I get the feeling you're. Okay. You motherfucker!
That's not pretty. Okay. You can literally just color her cake red and boom, it's cheeky.
You know what's funny? The second Q said happy and wholesome, I said, in my head, I said to myself, how much would I bet he's gonna be like, people are going to respond yes, he's going to be like, well, nope, fuck you, and then he's going to send something fucked up. And you know what? That's exactly what you did.
Man.
You know me so well.
I mean,
expect anything else from Q?
Not really at this point.
Really? Exactly.
He was just kind of there to fuck up things.
I'm there to make you, like, think you're gonna be happy, then crush your dreams underneath my boot.
You're like...
Ew.
You're like...
It's funny.
Okay. Let's just continue. Go ahead, Nick.
Okay, so last favorite character, like I was gonna say, is Stall, because, well, he's a character that really just doesn't shine unless you're looking at him, because he's a mediocre unit, so he kind of falls under the bland Cavalier stuff, with Sully being the more popular one, because haha, like, she's a tomboy and that kind of stuff, you know, she's a girl in the first place. But Stall, like, I think the Green Cavaliers have always been less popular ones, if I remember correctly. Besides Kaze, fucking Kaze.
Fire Emblem.
Well, yeah. Because Kent's kind of a dick, so we're ignoring that.
Kent's more professional, and Sane is just like a worthless womanizer. He's like the original Inigo.
I know, why I like Zane. Zane became my badass. His stats are insane.
Yeah. Anyways, what I like about him is, like, actually, I think this was illustrated in a 4 Coma comic, but he cares a lot about people before caring about himself. Because, like, in the 4 Coma comic I'm talking about, and I'm actually gonna look it up right now. He's talking about how hungry he is, and he starts making stew and stuff, and then everybody walks in, he feeds everybody. He's like, oh, I'm so hungry afterwards because he ran out of stew. And basically, he's just kind of an airhead, and that's honestly nice. That's honestly a nice trait. If you're an airhead, you kind of are obviously a nice person.
See, airheads are actually usually underestimated, and usually they act all airheaded, but they're actually secretly badasses.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I always pair up Stall and Pan. I did it my first run, and I liked the way Yarn turned out, so I just kept doing that.
Apparently, he really likes the taste of rabbit.
God fucking. but Stall is actually one of those closet badasses. People underestimate him because he's airheaded, and he's always like, man, I'm so hungry.
His parents like died, if I remember correctly.
I need to look more into Stall because I've always liked his character and just that kind of.
I think he has a brother. Stall's father was all I remember.
Oh yeah, and about the red and green Cavaliers. I honestly liked
You can't pray if you don't pick a
I liked
god.
Oscar more than Kieran from Radiance.
Kieran.
Yeah.
Kieran is annoying as fuck, dude.
If I remember correctly, Stall like has sisters, and that's why he's in the army.
Yeah, so he can help provide for his family, and make sure his sisters aren't affected by the war.
Who trusts me enough to want an actually wholesome picture this time?
No.
Just do it, man.
Watch your shit, Q.
Aww.
Oh.
So Roger just can't get the weapon advantage with your axe. I told you if it would like be actually wholesome, and you're all like, nah, I don't want that. Yeah.
Dark Gray Clouds does some great stuff with Olivia and Inigo. I love it.
So cute and awesome.
And see, people people usually only like Olivia because of her looks, but say she's ass as a unit because as a dancer her stats are pretty garbage. But if you invest in her, she is really fucking good.
She's basically an in-between of a Miradon and a Swordmaster as a dancer.
Yeah, she's like
with more speed than a Swordmaster.
Yeah, but like I put effort into her. I made her a Darkflyer and gave her Gale Force. I also gave her Swordfair and Astra from the Swordsmaster line. And if I recall correctly, she can also become an assassin or something. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, I also gave her Pass and she does really well, actually.
Yeah, she like moves her in this room.
She becomes an assassin because her bodies kill her. Kill myself. I'm getting to the point where I hate myself for these puns. It's gotten too bad.
You're gonna get punished.
Emphasis on pun.
Yes.
Alright, so, are you done, Nick?
Huh? Yeah, I'm just looking for stall stuff on 4 Coma.
I mean, okay, you're up, Q. Favorite, neutral, least favorite.
Like 2 of each.
Is there anyone else yet?
Wait, did somebody just yawn?
Yeah, that was me.
That's the case.
Is there anyone else to go before me?
No, it's
Well,
you.
we haven't heard Stephanie.
You can skip here if you
Dory
want.
Q. Dory Q. Tiki's got your back.
Hey.
She's sleeping.
Oh my god, Tiki.
I sleep.
Okay, so Ix Ragnell Sheath. Who are your favorite characters in Awakening?
Wait, aren't you supposed to speak?
He gave up. He doesn't want to yet.
Okay. That was random. So, I don't really have a particular order when it comes to favorites, but those who've played the DLC will obviously know who the hell I'm picking first. There we go, blah, blah, blah. I really like his character, the fact that even though he's rather plain, but when you try to get the supports with him, he actually becomes really shy when people just do favors for him without him asking. It's like, why are you washing my goddamn laundry? No, don't do that. Blush. It's like the cutest thing. I liked his supports because it shows that he really wants to improve as a warrior, and basically would help anyone else that would like to improve as well. Let's personal shout out to Henry. I actually adore his character. He's just so funny and has some really screwed up sense of humor. Okay, what the hell? Aw, that's cute. Let me see. I also like Sully. I like her.
Yes.
Just like a motherfucker. But I really love her tomboyish, good for nothing attitude. She's like, I am rude as fuck, and I don't care what you think.
You are a woman of culture.
She's like, fuck you and your opinions.
Thank you. Let's see.
I know that this is Kale Dory, but I don't care. It looks close enough to Cordelia.
Yeah. Aw, she's really nice. Also, I'm a sucker for an
Decent art, bad character.
Shush. Yes, I like Inigo. I like him as a person. He was my husbando in Awakening. Deal with it.
Can we just take a moment to appreciate how much of a great fucking guy Gregor is?
Yes.
Gregor is great.
Job.
Why are you scared of Gregor?
Great.
Gregor have innocent baby face.
He has
Remember that Gregor won a mock battle with Long Ku before Long Ku could even draw his sword.
Yeah, Gregor is low-key a literal god as a unit. He's got access to Swordsmaster and Barbarian lines, giving him both sword and axe fair, making him the perfect hero class.
Yep.
I mean, people like underestimate him because of the accent and how he acts all silly and cheerful, and because he's an older guy, but he will fuck your shit up.
Unless you're now, in which case he'll just fuck your shit.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, neutrals. I don't really care about some of the cast. Dislikes, however, I cannot stand Vake. His whole teacher persona is just stupid, and talking in third person just throws me under the bus.
Make way for the Vake!
Dude!
And I'm like, ew. Ew.
I'm like, dude, why do you have to talk in third person? That is annoying as fuck. Holy shit. Props, however, for always losing his goddamn axe. Fucking moron.
He should duct tape it to his hand.
Agreed. Another character that I also can't stand. It's Yarn. He's just a goddamn
Rude.
scaredy cat. I'm sorry, I don't like him. He's like, oh my goodness, lightning is scary.
No, that's retarded.
Like, stop being a pussy and man up. Holy crap.
Wait a
Well, he's
second.
the last of his race, so.
What if he's a scaredy cat because he'd rather chase Yarn than fight?
Ah! You sack of shit.
My goodness.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, last person I can't stand, Varian. His whole upbringing, and the fact that he basically runs away from his home country because it's literally, oh shit, we're gonna get wrecked, time to abandon ship. Come on, Shershi. What?
Here comes more wholesome art.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Chichi. Ree.
Yo, I love that Olivia picture just now. The art's really good in that.
Is Olivia your waifu?
I don't have...
What bothers me is that it's actually wholesome.
Olivia is my favorite Awakening character, but not my waifu, no. My waifu is not even in Fire Emblem, so...
Good luck.
Olivia is just, like, in my top 3 or 5 favorite Fire Emblem characters. Up there with Mia, Alencia, and Ilyana. And Har.
I'm going to sell a steel axe for no reason.
I wonder if Har would make a good pirate.
Wait. Hey!
Hay is for horses.
Alright,
Yeah, that's it.
Q, you're up.
But I'm sitting down.
Do it now.
Do it, fag.
Stop
You
with
won't.
the puns.
Do it,
Holy
bitch.
shit.
I don't know. It's been so long since I played Awakening, you don't really have any, like, dislikes or neutral besides just never using Donald or most of the cast, actually. I don't like Muriel. I don't understand people that like Muriel.
Me either.
Yeah, you told me that when we were talking this morning.
Yeah, she's just so boring and over-analytic over everything. Like, come on, guys.
Come on, we know you're a better person than
I
this.
usually pair her up with Rickon. Get their kid.
I feel bad for Rickon.
Yeah, get their kid and then never use any of them again. Same with Sully and Varian.
Sully and Varian.
It's like I don't know.
Ralph.
But I know who my 5 favorites are, even though they're in no particular order.
Alright, go for it.
Rickon, Henry, Gregor, Tharja, and Olivia, and no one ever believes me when I say Tharja.
You mean Thotja.
I mean Tharja.
We've banned a few Thot jokes. Wait, did we unban them? I forgot.
No, you didn't unban them. They're still banned unless the head admin.
I recommend this. This is the AYFEW AetherCast. We gotta keep this.
Well, this is technically just something I'm running with people from AYFEW, so it's just a way that I'm trying to contribute to the community.
It is representing AYFEW, so sadly we cannot use the Thot jokes here.
Alright.
I mean, she is representing it. We're just a bunch of Fire Emblem fans that happen to be from the same group.
Technically, she isn't. Technically, she is not a Thot because she's obsessed with one person.
And she's not blonde, so she can't.
Like, I've gone over this. Yeah.
Why is everyone trying to copy Crom's level up stats?
Okay.
So only Q
from a Crom family.
So only Q knows this. But I'm sorry for interrupting. Wait, who was talking?
No one. Go for it.
What?
Nick was talking.
Anyway.
Actually, but okay.
Okay, so no one important.
Hugh, stop being an asshole. I know it's your only personality,
Anyway,
but come on.
I'm just gonna make a quick point across. I was playing Awakening earlier. I'm playing it now, but like I kept leveling up Crom, and all he kept getting was HP, skill, speed, and luck. And then like one time I literally just like leveled up Lissa right afterwards, and she got HP, skill, speed, and luck. I just leveled up Sumiya now. HP, skill, speed, and luck.
Yeah, that happens.
Seems legit.
It happens too often.
Understandable.
Anyways, whoever the hell is talking, you can go for it now.
Oh, he left.
Oh boy, way to go.
Oh well, whatever.
Pretty much.
He doesn't like you, Q. He says you're overall annoying and that you're a dick.
I mean, is he wrong? No.
He's not really wrong.
Alright, well.
I mean, he doesn't have to like me. So.
It's not like it's a requirement.
Alright, yeah, let's see. What was next on the list?
Meow.
Let's scroll up past all the memes. Okay, maps and in-game moments. Favorites and least favorites.
Oh, you guys, I'm not gonna talk, so you guys can do it. Don't really remember that match that much.
A lot of the maps in Awakening really weren't that good.
Honestly, my least favorite had to be the fight against Gangrel. Because, I mean, it's pretty straightforward, but you've got those two chests and the enemy thief. And you gotta deal with that motherfucker.
Let's be honest here. If you want to know how good or bad Awakening maps are, you need to remake them in the Game Boy Advance tiles. And just do the comparison there. Because no matter how flashy or pretty the map looks, if the tiles are actually god-awful, the map is still god-awful. And a lot of the ones in Awakening do not stand up to a lot of the ones in the Game Boy Advance games. Like how some of the endgame stuff is comparable to the tutorial in Fire Emblem 7.
Ew. But we do have maps that were an homage to previous games, like Inigo's recruitment map was from Gaiden. It was Duma Gate from Act 3.
Yep. Did you know that the place where where you recruit Yanfei, that's where Ram Village once was?
Yes. And the tree that you scale in order to get to Tiki is where Naga and Duma died.
You mean Milla?
Milla, not Naga. Duh. Yeah. that tree is Milla and Duma.
So I see the tree T went through.
Get out.
That really is the end.
Oh my,
after hearing that.
Oh my god, I heard the pun and then I heard Sumiya go, "This is the end!"
Yep. The timing is just perfect. Really.
God damn it, Colby. MVP.
My puns are so bad, even the game is coming to life to try and kill me.
That's how games are nowadays.
One map that really could have been done better was Priam's recruitment map.
Oh yes.
Are we just going to ignore Aversa's though, where it's just clones of your own fucking army?
You know, I was ignoring it because that map is so terrible I didn't want to talk about it.
Think about a bitch.
Oh, that one really sucks.
You know what?
Vake, I don't care if you die. You can die, because you're not doing me any good.
Rip.
Wow, racist.
I killed in that map. The fuck is that?
I do like how Awakening did do the maps that were references to past games, like Gaiden and, Gaiden.
Good maps.
Actually,
Border Waste, where you fight Gangrel, that's apparently where Marf's castle was.
Oh, sick. Damn. There's a lot of Altair references.
I mean, it's the same continent.
Pete. It's just that people point out the Gaiden references, and they totally forget about like the Altian references because like those games suck.
They did. But honestly, one of my favorite in-game moments was after Emrin took a leap of faith.
Splat.
Actually, no, Takumi pushed her.
Oh my god.
But yeah,
Takumi wasn't even alive yet.
You know, Fates is before Awakening in the timeline by like several thousand years, right? But yeah, after Emrin took that leap of faith and went splat, the map where you fight Mufasa. Like
He didn't move.
I love that guy.
I actually like that whole sequence because it literally forces the crew to reevaluate their next movement.
That was one of the best maps in Awakening, and kind of sad that I forgot about it.
It had good music. Good music was playing in that map too.
And the interesting thing about that is it had two different complete tracks. It had the battle menu prep track, and then the actual battle track, and both of them were really fucking good.
Actually,
yeah.
I shouldn't say it's a good map, but just how the chapter is handled was good.
Can we just appreciate the fact that the main boss of that map is like, hey, if you don't really need to fight, you don't want to waste your lives, get out of here. I'll deal with the king later. But dude,
No, he doesn't say get out of here. He said, he says that to his own soldiers, but what he says to Crom is, surrender and you won't have to lose your lives.
I was talking about the soldiers.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Crom's army.
No.
But yeah, Mufasa's a bro, and
guys,
real shit, when are we gonna get him as a grand hero battle?
Yeah, we need Mufasa in Heroes.
No, we need Walhart heroes.
Honestly,
Yes.
I prefer Mufasa over Walhart just because I really like Mufasa's character.
Do you want to know what kind of makes me sad? The fact that no one likes Rickon makes it so no one knows about Rickon's supports with Henry, where a lot of bosses throughout the game are mentioned and humanized, which makes people really uncomfortable. It definitely affects Rickon a lot, because he says himself he doesn't like seeing the people he's killed as people.
Rickon actually is a good character, and I probably should use him more, but, I mean, I just haven't gotten around to doing so.
Look up Rickon supports with Henry. You will not be disappointed.
I doubt I will.
Sploosh.
Okay.
This is the end.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. It really isn't. Alright, so, anyone else have any favorite in-game moments, or, like,
My
special
favorite
things that
moment was
happen?
when Lucina, aka Marth, practically like jumped into the portal to go back in time when some other baddies went to back in time to maybe kill Crom, I think. And then Lucina just sees her father, and then just like, hey, we don't have time to talk, let's fight. And then next thing you know, like a few moments later, Lucina is revealed, and Crom sees the symbol in her eye, and then next thing you know, she starts crying because
you deserved more from me than one sword in a world of troubles.
Yeah, so basically Lucina starts crying because she knows that Crom died in her future, so she goes to hug him.
Yeah, that was a good moment. But, I mean, it just kind of played up Lucina's character a lot and made her more understandable, despite her not having much character.
That's one of the reasons why Lucina is really well and one of the best Fire Emblem characters out there.
I mean, she does not have much character to distinguish herself. She's basically Marth, but with slightly more development.
She's basically boneless Marth.
No, Marth is boneless Lucina.
I'm not gonna go there.
Marth is boneless Lucina because Marth literally did nothing in his games. Sheeta did all the recruitment except for like 3 people.
Damn, and Marth's supposed to be the hero.
True.
And that's why people call Sheeta a Thot, because, like, there was this one dude who was an enemy armored unit. Can't remember his name. But,
Roger.
she basically goes up to him and talks to him instead of attacking him. She says, "You've got such a kind face. Why are you fighting with the enemy that's conquering our home?" And he, like, explains why. And she's like, "Oh, well, it sucks that we have to be enemies." And he basically just falls for her there. And people take that as her flirting with people to get them to defect. And that's why they call Sheeta a Thot.
Why do people say that?
It's a stupid argument, but
because people will do anything to cause drama.
It is indeed a fact that Sheeta does do more for the game than Marth ever did.
And they call Marth the Hero King. Why?
Well, he did canonically kill Garneth, so. And everyone knows you can't win against Garneth.
Better.
Come on, getting off topic again.
Oh, yeah. But, like, what was it?
My favorite in-game moment. Hard to say. I really, there's a lot of them I really liked, like the fight with Walhart and stuff like that. But like, the part with Mufasa is one of my favorites.
Anyone who doesn't like Mufasa is probably
trash.
They're probably dead inside.
Well, I've never even heard of Mufasa, honestly.
You've never heard of him?
You're trashing him.
Oh no.
What is a soul?
Mufasa is that guy who was the Plaguean general that after Aetherine jumped to her death, he basically, he told Crom, "A lot of my soldiers, as well as myself, were there when she spoke. And and her words resonated with us. If you surrendered now, we will make sure no harm comes to you." And then one of his subordinates, one of Mufasa's subordinates, basically says that he can't raise his lance against these people anymore. And Mufasa basically says, "You know very well the punishment for treachery is death. But if you need to go, then go. I will deal with the king later." And the soldier says, "Why don't you come with me then?" And Mufasa says, "I know the king well. I have a wife and child, and I know what he would do to them if I did. I have to stay."
He'd definitely kill him.
He would kill them both to make an example and then kill me, is what Mufasa said. Mufasa is actually one of the deepest characters in Awakening, and he should have been playable, like recruitable in a paralogue at the end of the game, like Priam and everyone else.
Yeah.
That's one of the major points of Awakening that I was disappointed in. No playable Mufasa.
Don't worry. You're just gonna make that happen.
No canon Berserker unit either. Mufasa could have fixed that. Canon Berserker unit. And I'm just like a little disappointed in that. But yeah, that's who Mufasa was. He was the Plaguean general guy in that chapter. I think it was chapter 12.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyone else got anything to say?
Nah, basically really. My favorite moment.
Get out of here.
Unless y'all really want to know about like the one map where you just get dark spell sniped the whole time.
Ew.
Mire is so bad when it's used against
you. And you can't hit them back unless you have a tome or a bow that hits from 3 squares away.
I mean, it could have been worse. It could have been like bolting in the Game Boy Advance games.
Or bolting in Tellius. Bolting in Tellius was still broken. I mean, it only had 5 uses, but damn.
I mean, in like Battle Before Dawn, bolting was on a Cavalier boss that was in a Fog of War map. So
Fog of War, people bitch about it a lot, but I find it fun because it's challenging. And you uncover the area as you go.
I agree with Marvis. I liked the Fog of War maps.
I did as well. A lot of people bitch about it, though. I'm like, but why?
When my dad was playing Fire Emblem 7, he was doing the Lin tutorial thing, and it was a Fog of War map, and my dad was just like, I've fucking seen this in Final Fantasy Tactics, and he just bitched about it.
He's a man of culture.
Well, from what I've heard, Final Fantasy Tactics doesn't do Fog of War the same way Awakening does. I mean, not Awakening, FE7 does.
Yeah.
And like there's this one Fog of War map in Radiant Dawn where Micaiah gets ambushed by people trying to assassinate her, and Zelgius shows up to save her ass.
Oh dear, and then the Black Knight comes in and saves the day, sort of.
Although it's still really hard with just Micaiah.
That's confusing me. Is he the bad guy or is he the good guy?
I think Black Knight's an anti-hero.
He's an anti-hero. He's a rival for Ike. The bad guy, I can't spoil Radiant Dawn for you, but I will say that you think he's trustworthy in Path of Radiance. The true bad guy is never who you expect it's going to be. And the ending of Path of Radiance post-credits really throws you through a curveball.
I mean, Black Knight is kind of a villain since he did kill Ike's.
No, that's just anti-hero. That sets him up as a goal for Ike to strive towards. He's more of a rival than anything, really.
Oh, I see.
Because, like, Ike's whole motivation is to become stronger and make his dad do what he thinks would make his dad proud. But, like, yeah, we're straying way off topic again. This is good stuff to talk about during the Tellius thing in 2 weeks.
We're doing it a lot. Really addictive.
Yes.
What else is there to go over?
The classic quill screen.
Hey, don't say my name.
You said you didn't care about that anymore.
That's when we're talking, not on stream.
Understandable. Okay.
So we already discussed the favorite maps. We basically did favorite moments, right?
Yeah.
Damn it, Colby.
What else?
There is something I want to say. I mentioned it in the Sacred Stones podcast that there's something I want to say for the Awakening podcast, but I never got around to doing that because it took so fucking long to get through the Fates podcast.
Why don't you just do it?
That moment when your game is so bad that even like a freaking computer program crashes because it doesn't want to hear about it anymore.
I'm sick of your shit. I don't want to hear this.
Dead.
Fuck this shit. I'm out.
All right.
So what was it you wanted to say, Colby?
One of my more recent run-throughs of Secret Awakening.
Yeah.
I made every character. If possible, I made every class a Myrmidon.
But why?
But why? It turned out very useful in the end because I still kept Anna as a trickster just for healing.
Seems legit.
Sounds about right.
Hold on. Reset the game. We've been at this for almost 2 hours now.
Yep.
Yes.
Let me just do this.
Oh yeah, I forgot. In this episode, we basically talked about how Crom and Co. just went up and T-posed to assert their dominance on the various villains of the game.
Kill myself.
God damn it! Yeah, that's exactly what I told him. I was just like, you should kill yourself for that.
I hate myself.
Good.
I bet you do.
Oh God. Okay.
So I guess that's about it. A couple of people didn't show up, like Hunter, Brandon, Ciara, and Raph, despite saying they were going to be there.
Wow.
I wouldn't have been surprised if Kevin was on that list.
Please.
I see an opening.
Kobe, you really need to like mute your game or something.
Yep.
What? I don't. That's not even me.
I see an opening.
It's Kefy.
My
volume is all the way off. That's not from me.
It was Kefy.
Poor soul. Everybody blames Colby when it was really Kefy. Feels bad, man. Hashtag blame Colby.
Blame
Takumi is so last year.
No.
Nah, it's blame Colby now. Poor soul.
Okay.
Why are we talking about Olivia again?
I didn't want to do this. Not scary.
Now we're just talking about random shenanigans again.
We should probably wrap. This up.
Is there anything else we need to talk about?
One at a time, please.
What was that, Kefy?
Was there anything else in the schedule we should talk about?
Not off the top of my mind, honestly.
Nah, we got everything.
Basically, almost the podcast is basically done. Kinda.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop the recording here in a second. But you guys, anyone here want to do the Path of Radiance podcast in 2 weeks?
Hold on. I'll be there, maybe, even though I'll have no idea about anything. Anyways, there. See?
Look it up,
But why?
I'll still join the podcast, but I'm not gonna really say that.
Learn more about the game.
Yeah, me too. I'm coming just to learn more about the game.
All right.
Just look at this shit.
Legit.
But why?
Anna.
That Anna, though.
Scroll through all of the memes.
Okay.
Olivia flexing while holding Inigo. That's adorable.
Flexing on.
Sword users can't get the weapon advantage if you lose your axe.
Yeah, that's really funny.
You can't pray if you don't pick a god.
Look at Olivia's beautiful face that Corvus just sent.
I sent it a while ago, and I'm like, can we just take a minute to appreciate how fucking gorgeous this character model from Warriors is?
She looks like a real life human being. And
but anime versioned.
Yeah, I would love to see Olivia in real life.
Well,
she's gonna be super shy.
We've seen Wonderland Trash and Princess Rabbit's cosplay, Olivia.
I want to meet them. I want someone to cosplay Sully so bad. There's a lot of Sully cosplayers, but I want to meet them so bad.
Q and I talk to PRC occasionally, and she's honestly one of the kindest people you'll ever meet. You'll see some famous cosplayers act all arrogant and full of themselves, like you should be honored to talk to them, but she's pretty down to earth.
Dude, PRC does cosplay for all the right reasons, and she's really chill to talk to.
Like, me and Q start roasting each other back and forth in a comment thread on one of her posts, and she just pops in and starts laughing her ass off.
I'll speak French.
I talked to her about that like a little bit later, and she's like, dude, you guys are great.
Mademoiselle. That's the hottest thing I've ever been told.
Those were set out of order. It's, I'll speak French between your legs. That is the hottest thing I've ever been told. I'm just picturing someone screaming bonjour at a penis. Then Inigo and Owain show up like, Sacre bleu, mademoiselle. Titty croissants. None of you should ever be having sex. Titty croissants.
Titty croissants.
You guys are gonna be virgins for the rest of your lives.
But I don't care.
Stall be like, I'll just leave this letter here. And then Olivia, and I'll be sure to read it.
This frickin' Marth's birthday meme is relatable as hell.
My wife should have swallowed 3,000 years ago.
Then he lights a cigarette on the birthday candles.
Bo, what?
Because, you know, as you do.
Your half in death.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Ooh, Henry.
Eat, so close.
Whoever's doing this should kill himself.
Alright, well, I'm wrapping this up. For whoever watched this, the Path of Radiance broadcast is 2 weeks from today, same time. Saturdays at 2:30 Eastern.
By the way.
What?
Did we even talk about the plot, or is there no need to because everyone's played the game at this point?
There was no need to talk about the plot because I summed it up in kids come back to the past from the future, and Crom and company T-pose on the villains to assert their dominance. Honestly, why did they even need to use the Fire Emblem against Grima? Robin could have just yeeted his tome at it.
Corvus, you didn't mention the real plot of Fire Emblem Awakening.
What?
You didn't mention the real plot of Fire Emblem Awakening.
What is it?
Robin looks at his best friend's children to see which one he wants to sleep with.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, joy.
Let's be honest. No one really wants Morgan with a first-generation unit when they go for stats.
I like Crom looking at Lucina's like what her stats are.
What are her stats?
Like what are her stats?
Honestly, if you want to make a godly Morgan, you either marry Severa, Inigo, or Owain, just because they have the best stat modifiers in overall basis.
Actually, Jerome, if his dad is Vike.
You mean Batman?
Yeah.
Morgan's like, why do you wear a mask? And he says it's complicated.
It's complicated.
That's not complicated.
No, calculus is complicated. That's just a mask.
That's not complicated. That's a mask.
Oh, that's Smash Bros.
Oh god, this is the chapter with the gay barbarians. Or warriors.
Fucking barbarians. Victor and something else. Vincent and Victor. Alright, well, I'm stopping streaming this podcast now.
Bye. Goodbye, my precious people. Your friends
Fire Emblem Awakening.
It wasn't very woke.
It wasn't very woke, but at least it saved the franchise. Dab.